June 2020, planetary transits for Capricorn and Capricorn rising. This is an equal house chart set up for 0 degrees Capricorn on the ascendant, Eastern Daylight Time, New York. We begin June 1st, 2020, with 2 retrograde planets in Capricorn in the first house sector. Jupiter at 26 degrees conjunct Pluto at 24 degrees of Capricorn. The Sun is placed in the 6th house at 11 degrees of Gemini, with the planet Venus at 15 degrees of Gemini, retrograde. The planet Mercury is at 4 degrees of Cancer in the 7th house. In the 2nd house, we have the planet Saturn at 1 degree of Aquarius, retrograde. Mars is moving through the 3rd house at 12 degrees of Pisces, with Neptune at 20 degrees Pisces. The moon is in Libra at 8 degrees in the 10th house sector, and Uranus is in the 5th house at 8 degrees of Taurus. Overview. June of 2020 brings 3 major events. The second hit at exactitude of the magnificent Jupiter-Pluto conjunction, an annular solar eclipse, and the entrance of Mars in Aries for a 6-month-long transit. Let's look at each one and determine the life areas that will be impacted. The Jupiter-Pluto conjunction will make its second hit at exactitude in your first house sector at 24 degrees Capricorn, 6 minutes retrograde. Planets in retrograde motion bring a review and readjustment. In the first house of personal plans, outlook on life, and appearance, expect a reassessment. Additionally, due to the positive, expansive nature of this conjunction, whatever you require to move forward will be available. This conjunction is characterized by lucky, fated events, but there are pitfalls ahead over the next 6 months due to Mars in high tension. Please refer to my videos on the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction 2020 for Capricorn and Capricorn rising, uploaded in December 2019, as well as my video on the 6-month transit of Mars in Aries for Capricorn and Capricorn rising. The second and third events of importance occurring in June 2020 is the annular solar eclipse of June 21st at 0 degrees Cancer, 21 minutes, happening in your 7th house of partners, which is activated by Mars entering Aries on June 27th. On June 27th, 28th, and 29th, as Mars ignites the eclipse point in your 7th house, there could be a crisis or just intense activity and change concerning personal or business partnerships. Eclipse activations bring emphasis and focus to the life area it impacts. Of course, if you know your exact time of birth and have your astrological chart, you'll also have greater accuracy of interpretation. On June 2nd, Venus square Mars between houses 6 and 3 can give rise to harsh communication, irritation, and anger in the workplace. Strive to be more diplomatic and careful about what you say and how you say it today. The planet Venus conjuncts the Sun on June 3rd in your 6th house. Excellent for healing relationships in the workplace that have recently become strained. At the very least, you should be feeling good. June 5th brings the full moon, 3:14 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, at 15 degrees of Sagittarius in opposition to the Sun, at 15 degrees of Gemini, spanning houses 12 and 6, highlighting work, health, the job environment, and relationships with coworkers. The planet Mars at 15 degrees of Pisces is making a high-tension square, 90-degree aspect to this full moon. This is a highly frictional and impatient full moon. Be careful in communicating through the written or spoken word at this time. Take care to avoid a major conflict with others. If you're on the road today, drive defensively, especially if you're irritated or frustrated. On June 6th, under Sun square Mars, between houses 6 and 3, Intense ego conflicts with others could erupt. This is an aspect of high energy and aggression, with a tendency to force circumstances with others who will then try to stop you because they feel threatened. Conversely, you may have to contend with someone overstepping your boundaries. Instead of ego conflicts, use this energy to get a great deal of work done. On June 11th, Sun square Neptune between houses 6 and 3 is an aspect of deception resulting in confusion. The information you receive on the mental plane may be at odds with what your gut feelings are telling you about a situation. On another level, do not permit any news you receive to activate your inherent fears. Your imagination may be in overdrive. June 13th brings Mars conjunct Neptune in the third house. The communication you receive today may make you feel dispirited. Make sure that what you've been told is accurate. It may not be. On another level, the desire to escape the mundane may be strong. Do so in creative ways instead of indulgence in drugs or alcohol. World weariness is also characteristic of this conjunction. On June 18th, the planet Mercury turns retrograde at 14 degrees of Cancer in the 7th house sector. Also on June 18th, Mars sextiles Pluto between houses 3 and 1, a positive vibration under which to communicate with those in your day-to-day environment and implement useful changes. The Sun enters Cancer on June 20th, ushering in the summer solstice and moving into your 7th house. Under Mars sextile Jupiter, also on June 20th, between houses 3 and 1, favors shopping for clothing or other items to enhance your personal appearance and give you a boost of self-confidence. June 21st brings the new moon. 2:42 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 0 degrees of Cancer, 21 minutes in the 7th house, highlighting all partnerships, both business and personal. This new moon is an annular solar eclipse that will be activated by Mars on June 27th, 28th, and 29th, emphasizing the concerns of this life area. The planet Neptune turns retrograde on June 23rd at 20 degrees of Pisces in the 3rd house. Venus turns direct motion on June 25th at 5 degrees of Gemini in the 6th house sector. The planet Mars enters Aries on June 27th and moves into the 4th house. Mars sextiles Saturn on June 28th between houses 4 and 2 favors discussions with family members concerning shared duties and responsibilities on the home front, including financial obligations. Work to iron out a new agreement between you. June 30th brings the second hit at exactitude of the Jupiter-Pluto conjunction at 24 degrees Capricorn retrograde in your 1st house sector. Also on June 30th, we have Mercury sextile Uranus between houses 7 and 5 and Mercury conjunct the Sun in the 7th house. Both aspects tell the story of intense mental activity and harmonious communication in your partnerships, both business and personal. An excellent time for discussing and creating long-range plans.